The internet is an absolute meltdown because Camron just dropped a bomb so messy, so explosive, that it's threatening to burn down Jim Jones' entire world. We're talking secrets dragged out of the shadows, reputations hanging by a thread, and the kind of betrayal that feels ripped straight from a soap opera. Except this isn't fiction. This is real life, and it's uglier than anyone imagined. For years, Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin have been hip-hop's most complicated love story ups. Downs, engagements, breakups, and public battles that had fans glued to every move. But through it all, one thing remained unshakable: Chrissy's loyalty. At least, that's what we thought. Enter Camron. The Dipset legend, Jim's longtime brother-in-arms turned bitter rival, has just gone nuclear. In a jaw-dropping moment that sent social media into overdrive, Cam hinted no. Exposed that Chrissy has been hiding a secret that could destroy not just Jim's relationship, but his empire, his image, and maybe even his sanity. Clues are already flooding the internet. Cryptic IG captions resurfaced old interviews. And Cam's not-so-subtle barbs that have fans convinced this isn't just petty beef, it's a devastating truth bomb. And Jim? Sources say he's spiraling, losing control of everything he built, while Chrissy stays eerily silent. So what is Chrissy's secret? How deep does this betrayal cut? And is Jim Jones about to lose it, ill in love, in loyalty, and in legacy? Stay locked in, because this isn't just drama. This is destruction in real time. The moment Camron opened his mouth, the entire hip-hop world held its breath. This wasn't the usual playful banter or Dipset nostalgia that fans were used to. This was venom, laced with decades of history, betrayal, and receipts that nobody expected to see dragged into the light. It all started during an off-the-cuff Instagram Live, when Cam, chilling with his signature smirk, decided to clear the air about why his relationship with Jim Jones had collapsed beyond repair. But what came out of his mouth next? It was the kind of revelation that changes everything. "I kept my mouth shut for years," Cam said, staring into the camera, his tone deadly serious. "But since everybody want to act like I'm the bad guy, let's talk about the real reason Jim been moving the way he do. Let's talk about Chrissy." And just like that, the internet went into flames. Chat rooms lit up. Twitter timelines exploded. TikTok reaction videos sprouted like wildfire. What could Cam possibly mean? Chrissy Lampkin, Jim's ride or die, the woman who held him down through fame, prison, and reality TV. What secret could she be hiding that was so massive? Camron himself felt compelled to expose it now. The answer, according to Cam, was brutal. He claimed that during the height of Dipset's reign, Chrissy wasn't just standing by Jim's side. She was allegedly involved in things behind the scenes that would blow his credibility apart. "I ain't gonna say too much," Cam teased, leaning closer to the camera. "But let's just say Chrissy wasn't as loyal as everybody thought. Jim knew. That's why he was acting crazy all them years. That's why he was lashing out. He knew his foundation was cracked, and he tried to hide it from the world." The words hit like bullets. Loyal fans who had defended Jim and Chrissy for years were suddenly questioning everything. Old rumors resurfaced instantly. Those whispers about Chrissy's flirtations with other industry figures. The cryptic diss lines people thought were just random shots. And the infamous tension that always seemed to hover around Jim when Dipset reunions fell apart. Could it all have been rooted in this secret Cam was now dragging into daylight? Within minutes, gossip blogs, plastered headlines. Camron says Chrissy's loyalty is a lie. Screenshots of his live circled Instagram and Twitter faster than wildfire. Memes appeared instantly, pictures of Jim looking distraught during Love and Hip Hop spliced with captions like, "He knew the whole time." On TikTok, users replayed Cam's clip over dramatic music, speculating about exactly what Chrissy had done and who she had done it with. But Cam didn't stop there. He doubled down, hinting that Jim's entire career had been shaped by this hidden truth. Why you think he always felt the need to prove himself? Why you think he stayed trying to flex harder than the next man? It's 'cause he was hurt. hurt by the one person he thought was solid. That pain don't go away, and that's why everything he touched crumble. It was an emotional assassination. Cam wasn't just accusing Chrissy. He was cutting deep into Jim's psyche, painting him as a broken man who built his bravado on a fragile, crumbling foundation. And the fans ate it up. Reaction videos flooded in. Twitter threads analyzing Cam's every word grew by the hour. Some fans dragged Cam for being messy, but others swore he was telling the truth, pointing to years of erratic behavior from Jim as proof that Cam's bombshell lined up with reality. And then, like pouring gasoline on an already raging fire, old clips from Love and Hip Hop resurfaced. Fans dug up the infamous proposal scene, where Chrissy dropped to one knee and proposed to Jim herself, a move that had divided the fandom for years. Now, with Cam's accusations in the air, people rewatched the clip with new eyes. "She proposed because she was hiding something," one commenter wrote. "That was guilt, not love." Another said, "Jim never looked comfortable with Chrissy. Now we know why." Meanwhile, Jim Jones stayed silent. He didn't clap back at Cam, didn't defend Chrissy, didn't post a single meme. That silence only made the speculation worse. Fans began tagging him relentlessly, demanding answers, flooding his comments with questions. "Is it true? What did Chrissy do? Why are you quiet?" The pressure was suffocating, and the longer Jim stayed silent, the more it looked like Cam had struck a nerve. But Chrissy, always the unpredictable wild card, broke the silence with a cryptic Instagram story. Just a single black screen with white text. "A lie don't become truth just because a clown said it." She didn't name Cam, she didn't reference Jim, but the implication was clear. Fans instantly split into factions. Team Chrissy swearing she was being unfairly dragged, and Team Cam insisting she was only deflecting because she'd been caught. Things took an even darker turn when anonymous sources started feeding gossip blogs alleged receipts. One blog claimed to have DMs from Chrissy with an unnamed music executive from years ago. Another posted blurry screenshots of texts allegedly showing her arranging late-night meetings while Jim was on tour. None of it was verified, but the timing was devastating. The narrative that Chrissy had betrayed Jim was now bigger than Cam's words. It had taken on a life of its own. Fueled by speculation and social media hysteria. And Jim, for the first time in years, fans reported seeing him in public looking visibly shaken. Paparazzi photos showed him ducking cameras, looking exhausted, his usual swagger stripped away. Rumors swirled that he'd pulled out of scheduled appearances and had gone off the radar to deal with the chaos privately. Some blogs even suggested he and Chrissy were living separately in the aftermath of Cam's revelations, though neither confirmed it. Still, the speculation kept spiraling. Celebrities Wade and Fabulous dropped a cryptic tweet. "Truth always comes to the light, even if it takes 20 years. Remy Ma reposted a meme about loyalty with side-eye emojis. And 50 Cent, the king of online trolling, couldn't resist chiming in. "Damn, Jim, you let Cam tell it all. Should have kept a house in order." His post racked up hundreds of thousands of likes. And fans laughed while Jim remained dead silent by now. The firestorm wasn't just about Chrissy's alleged secret, it was about Jim's entire image unraveling. The narrative was brutal. A man who had built himself as a Harlem icon, a tough guy, a symbol of loyalty and love, now reduced to a meme. His relationship ridiculed, his credibility shredded. And Cam, sitting back with that trademark smirk, looked like the puppet master pulling every string. The cliffhanger came when Cam, clearly relishing the attention, teased during another live that he hadn't even said the worst part yet. "Y'all think what I told you is bad? Wait till you hear the rest. Jim know exactly what I'm talking about, and he praying I don't say it. But I might. Stay tuned." The internet froze. What could possibly be worse? What more could Chrissy have been hiding? And how much more could Jim Jones lose before the truth swallowed him whole? By the time Camron teased that he had more to say, the internet was a powder keg. Every gossip page, every blog, every TikTok commentator was on high alert. If the first revelation had the hip-hop world in flames, then whatever came next promised to be the nuclear bomb. And the scariest part? Jim Jones was still silent. No defense. No denial. No, nothing. No denial. No, nothing. Silence in a scandal is like blood in shark-infested waters. It draws predators. Within days, the whispers got louder. A popular gossip account dropped what they called exclusive insider tea, claiming that Chrissy had been spotted years ago at private dinners with a record executive who was rumored to have beef with Jim. The account even posted a grainy photo of what looked like Chrissy at the table, her hand suspiciously close to the man's arm. Fans went berserk. So this is what Cam was talking about. One tweet read, racking up 50,000 likes. The speculation spiraled into chaos when another blog claimed to have obtained old emails allegedly showing tension between Jim and Day and Chrissy over trust issues. The supposed emails never verified painted a picture of a paranoid Jim accusing Chrissy of sneaking around while he was on tour. In one screenshot, Jim wrote, "If you think I don't know what you've been doing, you've got me twisted. I just ain't saying nothing because I don't want it to blow up my life." The internet didn't need proof. The narrative was too juicy. Fans connected the dots themselves, and suddenly Chrissy was being dragged daily in comments. But not everyone was against her. Some fans defended her fiercely, accusing Cam of stirring up trouble for clout. "Cam bitter, period," one fan wrote. "He jealous of Jim's family. So, he trying to break it down?" Another echoed. Chrissy held Jim down for decades. Stop playing with her name. But then came the second bombshell from Cam. During yet another live session, he leaned back, smirked, and casually dropped, "Let's not forget why Jim never married Chrissy for real. Y'all think it's 'cause he ain't believe in marriage? Nah, it's 'cause he couldn't face what he knew. You don't give somebody forever when they already broke you." That line cut deeper than anything he'd said before. The engagement without a wedding saga had haunted Jim and Chrissy for years. Fans always wondered why the couple never made it down the aisle despite decades together. Now, Cam was framing it as proof of betrayal. Social media exploded, with users digging up every clip where Jim seemed hesitant. Every scene where Chrissy cried over waiting. Cam just confirmed what we've been saying for years. One viral tweet read, "The backlash grew so vicious that even Chrissy's castmates from Love and Hip Hop started getting pulled in." Erica Mena tweeted a cryptic eye roll emoji during Cam's live, which fans took as shade. Kim Bella, Jim's former fling, posted a popcorn emoji on her Instagram story, adding fuel to the fire. And Mama Jones, Jim's outspoken mother, went live and blasted everyone involved. "Ain't nobody gonna disrespect my son like that. Cam just jealous. He always been jealous," she shouted, pacing around her living room. But the rant only made fans more curious, because Mama Jones carefully dodged any mention of Chrissy's name. Meanwhile, Jim's silence was deafening. Reports surfaced that he'd canceled studio sessions and skipped a scheduled club hosting gig in Atlanta. Photos of him looking disheveled and stressed leaked online, and fans swore he looked like a man on the verge of collapse. Blogs ran with headlines like "Jim Jones spiraling." After Cam's explosive claims and Chrissy ghosts social media amid cheating allegations, and just when the frenzy seemed like it might die down, the third leak hit the internet, this time in the form of an audio recording. A blog claimed the recording was years old and allegedly captured Jim arguing with a close friend about not being able to trust Chrissy. In the clip, a voice that sounded eerily like Jim's said, "Man, you don't even know what I go through. She out here moving funny, and I'm the one who gotta take the blame. How long I'm supposed to hold this SHT together?" The clip was fuzzy, the voice unconfirmed, but that didn't matter. Fans took it and ran. By now, hashtags like #Chris, SYS secret, and #Jim loses it all were trending worldwide. Reaction channels on YouTube gained millions of views, dissecting every detail. Memes compared Jim to other hip-hop figures who'd been clowned by public scandals. TikTok creators reenacted dramatic versions of Cam's accusations. It wasn't just a story anymore, it was a cultural moment. The avalanche of pressure finally cracked Chrissy. After days of silence, she posted a photo of herself sipping wine with the caption, "Unbothered. Always will be." But the post backfired instantly. Thousands flooded her comments, calling her cold, fake, and guilty. Others accused her of gaslighting Jim publicly while living her best life privately. The image that once made her seem like a strong, independent woman now read as dismissive in the middle of a storm. Jim's response, when it finally came, shocked everyone. He went live in the middle of the night, visibly emotional, his eyes heavy, his voice shaky. "Everybody think they know what's going on, but none of y'all was there," he muttered. "Me and Chrissy got history, real history. Y'all don't understand what that mean? Cam need to shut his mouth. He don't know half of what he talking about." But then, in a moment that fans clipped and replayed endlessly, Jim's voice cracked and he whispered, "I lost everything behind this love." The live ended abruptly, leaving fans in chaos. Some sympathized, saying Jim sounded like a broken man finally crumbling under decades of pressure. Others dragged him, calling him weak and accusing him of confirming Cam's story without realizing it. If he ain't guilty, why he crying? One fan asked, adding to the madness. Cam seized the opportunity to twist the knife. Hours later, he posted a meme of a crying face with the caption, "Told y'all." The truth hurt. The pettiness was brutal. And fans roasted Jim even more. At this point, the scandal had grown so big that mainstream outlets like TMZ and Complex were covering it daily. Journalists described it as the implosion of one of hip-hop's longest-standing couples. Industry insiders whispered about Jim losing endorsement opportunities and shows, pulling back on booking him until the chaos cooled. Chrissy's image as the ride to die was being dismantled in real time, and Cam, whether lying, exaggerating, or telling the truth, looked like he had successfully detonated the biggest bomb of his career. And then came the twist nobody expected. A mysterious Instagram account popped up claiming to be run by a former friend of Chrissy. The account promised to drop real receipts proving everything Cam had hinted at and more. Their first post, a blurred screenshot of what looked like text messages between Chrissy and another man. The caption read, "This is just the beginning. Y'all ain't ready." The internet froze again. Was this the smoking gun? Or was it another clout chaser capitalizing on the scandal? Either way, the countdown was on. Fans were refreshing the account hourly, waiting for the so-called bombshell. Jim Jones, once an untouchable Harlem legend, now looked like a man drowning, his reputation shredded. His relationship mocked, his silence turned into an admission. Chrissy was fighting to appear unbothered, but every move she made only fueled the fire. And Camron, he sat back, smirking. The world tore his old friend apart piece by piece, but with the insider promising to expose everything. One chilling question hung over the entire saga. If this was just the buildup, what kind of destruction was coming next? The anonymous Instagram account had the world on edge. Every hour, thousands of people refreshed the page, waiting for the so-called receipts that could end Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin once and for all. At first, skeptics dismissed it as a troll chasing clout. But when the first clear screenshot dropped, everything changed. It was a text thread allegedly between Chrissy, the man whose name was blurred but whose messages dripped with intimacy. The texts weren't generic. They included details about nights out in Miami, hotel meets, and coded phrases that hinted at something much deeper than friendship. One message read, "You know, he'd lose his mind if he knew we were together tonight." The reply from Chrissy's alleged number, "He don't gotta know. He never will." The screenshots went viral instantly. Blogs reposted them. Twitter had a meltdown. TikTok creators reenacted the messages in dramatic soap opera fashion. Some fans still questioned the authenticity, but others swore this was the smoking gun. Cam wasn't lying. One viral tweet said, "This proves everything." And then, like clockwork, the account posted again. This time, an old photo of Chrissy sitting in a VIP section, a man's hand on her thigh. The man's face was blurred, but fans instantly speculated about who it could be. Within hours, names were trending, theories flying. And the narrative took on a life of its own. Jim Jones' silence shattered. Paparazzi caught him outside a studio in Harlem, furious, lashing out at photographers. "Yo, get that camera out my face. Stop asking about my life," he screamed, shoving one lens away. The footage hit TMZ within hours, captioned "Jim Jones meltdown as Chrissy's scandal explodes." The video painted him as a man losing grip, not just on his relationship, but on his entire image. Meanwhile, Camron fanned the flames. He posted a cryptic video of himself laughing while sipping wine, captioned, "Didn't I tell y'all?" He never mentioned Chrissy's name directly, but the timing was unmistakable. His petty smirk became a meme, with fans declaring him the ultimate instigator who had dismantled Jim's empire with just a few words. But the most shocking moment came when Chrissy herself finally broke her silence with a sit-down interview on a podcast. Sitting across from the host, she wore dark glasses and a calm expression, but her voice trembled. "People are running with lies," she said. "I've been with Jim for over 20 years, and I've sacrificed more than anyone knows. But at the end of the day, a woman can only take so much disrespect before she stops caring what people think." The host pressed her. "So are the screenshots real?" Chrissy paused, sipped water, and finally replied, "Everybody got skeletons. But don't ever forget, wasn't the only one in this relationship making mistakes." That one line sent the internet into another frenzy. Was she admitting guilt? Was she deflecting? Was she hinting that Jim himself had been unfaithful? Fans dissected the clip frame by frame, some saying she was being honest, others saying she was gaslighting. But one thing was clear. Chrissy had cracked open the door to even more speculation, and the insider wasn't done. The Instagram account dropped what they called the final nail, a voice recording of Chrissy, allegedly on the phone with a close friend. In the clip, she vented about being tired of babysitting a grown man and hinted that she had found comfort elsewhere. "I had to do what I had to do," the voice said. "He wasn't giving me what I needed. People think I'm wrong, but they don't live in my shoes." That audio clip broke the internet. Whether real or fake, it destroyed the last shred of doubt for many fans. The hashtags #Chris SYS Secret and #Jim Loses It All hit #1 worldwide. Reaction videos flooded YouTube, with creators calling it the end of an era. Jim's response was heartbreaking. He went live again, tears streaming down his face, his voice shaking as he admitted, "I put my whole life into this, love. Everything I did was for us. And now the world laughing at me. Y'all don't know what it feel like to lose everything you respect. Your family, your peace." His live cut off abruptly. But clips spread across the internet like wildfire. Fans were divided, some showing sympathy, saying Jim had been publicly humiliated in the worst way possible, while others mocked him mercilessly. Memes compared him to other fallen stars, his image reduced to punchlines. Even celebrities chimed in. 50 Cent, never missing a chance to stir drama, posted, "Damn Jimmy, should have listened when I told you she was playing you." Cardi B, on the other hand, tweeted, "Stop laughing at people's pain. That man hurting for real." Her tweet racked up over 100K likes, showing just how split the public was. The fallout didn't stop at personal humiliation. Insiders claimed Jim lost a potential endorsement deal with a clothing brand who didn't want messy drama attached to their image. A club appearance in Miami was reportedly canceled after promoters worried about negative publicity. For the first time in years, Jim Jones' name wasn't trending for music or business. It was trending for scandal, betrayal, and heartbreak, and Cam. He basked in it. Posting old Dipset throwback photos, he captioned one, "Funny how tables turn." Fans interpreted it as a victory lap, proof that his words had single-handedly dismantled his old friend's empire. The story reached its climax when Mama Jones, the fiery matriarch, went live again, this time visibly emotional. She defended her son, blasted Chrissy, and hinted that the relationship was over for good. "I told him years ago she ain't the one, but he ain't listen." Now look, her words sealed the coffin. By the end of the week, Chrissy had vanished from social media entirely. Jim stayed quiet, retreating from the spotlight. Cam continued to troll from the sidelines, and fans were left staring at the wreckage of a love story that had once been the cornerstone of love. And hip-hop. What began as Camron's petty jab had evolved into the biggest hip-hop scandal of the year. A secret exposed, a man broken, a woman vilified, and an empire reduced to rubble. The legacy of Jim and Chrissy, once a tale of loyalty and survival, was now remembered as a cautionary story of betrayal, humiliation, and downfall. But one chilling detail remained. Before disappearing, the anonymous insider posted one last cryptic message: "Y'all only seen the beginning. The rest would ruin careers forever." The post vanished hours later, but the damage was done. Fans now believe that even after all this destruction, there are darker secrets still lurking in the shadows, secrets that might never see the light, but forever haunt the names Jim Jones, Chrissy Lampkin, and Cam Ron. And so the saga ends not with closure, but with suspicion. A broken man, a disgraced partner, and a former brother turned enemy. One secret was enough to topple everything. But if there's more, then hip-hop hasn't seen the last explosion yet. And if you think this story is finished, you're dead wrong, because the streets are buzzing that even bigger secrets are still locked in the vault. The insider swore we've only scratched the surface, and if that's true, then everything you just heard was only the warm-up act. The next receipts could be the kind that don't just shake up. Jim and Chrissy, they could rewrite hip-hop history forever. So here's the question. Are you going to be caught slipping? Scrambling through secondhand tweets while everyone else is already reacting? Livor, are you going to be right here, front row, when the next bomb drops? Because this isn't just messy drama anymore. This is a collapse, a betrayal, a scandal so wild that people will still be talking about it years from now. And if you miss a single detail, you'll regret it forever. That's why you need to smash that like button until it shatters. Subscribe right now before the next explosion and drop your thoughts in the comments. Whose side are you on, Cam, Chrissy, or Jim? Do you believe Chrissy's secret was the final blow? Or is Cam just playing puppet master for his own revenge? Your opinion matters here, and the world is watching. So don't sit this one out. Like, comment, subscribe. Because when the next wave of receipts hits the internet, trust me, you'll want to say you were here first.